Welcome to another episode of Take a Bite Out of South Florida. I'm in Boynton Beach today at one of my favorite, I can't even say it enough, favorite restaurants in South Florida, Driftwood. And if you haven't been here, let this episode and everything that you learned today be your main reason. Make a reservation and get here now. It is so good. And I'm here with the chef owner, Jimmy Everett. He and his wife they have an amazing team here. And you've been here now 7 years.
7.5.
7.5 years. So we're past the 7-year itch. Almost.
It doesn't seem to get easier.
It doesn't get easier.
The last 7 years has been different.
There's been a lot. We were, there's the restaurant industry over the last 7 years really has been through a lot. Take us back to the beginning. Introduce yourself. I know you're from South Florida. You're born and raised here in Lake Worth.
Yep.
And then you left. Then you came back. So give us the spiel.
Yeah. So I was actually born about a mile or so from Driftwood. That wasn't planned out. That was just coincidental. At Bethesda right there. So my
right around the
pediatrician
corner.
was down the street when I was a kid. My grandma lived down the street that way. So I'm very much a local, but I did leave. I left South Florida when I was 17. So throughout high school, I kind of got into a little bit of trouble. I started working in a restaurant just because I was on probation, I'll be honest.
Okay.
So I got into trouble when I was a kid.
I feel like this is the story of a lot of chefs.
So I don't want to say I fell into it, but I was definitely, I'd say, attracted to the industry in general, more of the culture of the industry at the time. That was around the time, like the, Kitchen Confidential, the whole Anthony Bourdain thing, and I was a troublemaker, so I was attracted to it, for sure, and that's kind of what got me into the industry. And then I think when I was 14, I was a busboy. By the time I was 15, I worked my way into the kitchen. I wasn't allowed to, so I had to kind of force my way into. I got a job at Macaroni Grill
because you were too young,
because of the age thing, because the whole slicey, slice your fingers off.
Yeah, I guess they don't want that liability.
So around 15, that's when I was like into the kitchen pretty full time, and throughout that time, it was it's not like I didn't have like a passion for food and ingredients and that sort of thing at that point. It was very much more of, like I said, the culture, the kitchen culture was what was attracting me most. And throughout high school, as I was 15, 16, 17, I was going to school, so I had to deal with grades, and I was very lucky to have a culinary instructor at my high school, Sylvia Tricarico, and she kind of saw through the rough with me a little bit. I love that
you remember her name and
Miss T.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I probably still can't spell it properly, but
yeah, it doesn't sound easy to spell.
Oh yeah, she comes in all the time.
Oh, that's great. So she's still in the local area.
She's local enough, yeah.
Yep.
She's no longer an instructor. She is retired, but she is very close with the current instructors, and I actually have 3 students that have been through that program. I'm in contact with the instructors at that school, mainly because of the proximity, because we're dealing with high school kids. It's kind of hard with transportation and stuff like that.
It needs to be convenient for them.
So we've had 3 kids come through. 2 of them have gone up to the CIA.
Wow. Not
graduated yet. One of them just got back from Thailand. Did an externship in Thailand.
Wow.
At a 2 Michelin star restaurant.
That's amazing. What a way to start your career.
I love that. I love being able. I can't. You can never help everyone. But that was the type of mentorship that I know that I needed when I was at that age. There was definitely things like I wanted to do things great and I wanted to do things the best I could. But at that age, you really need somebody to be able to show you how in subtle ways sometimes.
Yeah.
So I love it when I can. It doesn't always click with everyone, but I will always put 100% into people. If they have a desire to learn, they really want to grow. There's also no culinary schools around here in South Florida anymore. So if anyone wants to learn more after high school, there's not really any options. So that's another reason why I'm working with a community classroom
with the community classroom project, the culinary program there.
And also with the school district on kind of like, and some other chefs in different parts of the county For that reason, like I said, when you're dealing with high school kids, the transportation is probably one of the trickiest parts.
Yeah.
Just to be able to, for them to be able to consistently show up at their scheduled time. Setting them up for success, making sure that we're not asking something, because a lot of kids, they'll say yes to anything at that age.
Yeah.
If they're excited about it, but we want to do it right. We want to try to do it to where it can be a long-term growth, and hopefully be the beginning of a lifelong career in the industry.
I love that you're doing that for the students and the future chefs of the world. They really, because they need to. Yeah, to be able to continue this amazing food culture that we have, we need good people in the kitchen and running the restaurants and learning. And now's the time for them to get the experience and really to have this mentorship from people like yourself who have been so successful.
If you ask any chef in South Florida, what their number one issue is, I guarantee you 90% of them are going to say staffing.
Yep.
And quality staff.
Quality
people
staff,
that actually care.
Anybody can come in and work.
Yeah.
But to really, truly, have the work ethic and be open to learning and growing. Not a lot of these kids, younger generation.
More than the bare minimum, you know? And
Exactly.
Not that we, as a business, it's not that we expect that, but when I see people putting more than the bare minimum in it, I'll put absolutely everything I possibly can into that.
Yeah.
And just to reinforce that, encourage that continuous growth. That's what I love doing. I can't, I've been 25 years in the industry, and every day I need to be engaged. I need to be learning, growing, doing something that is positive. Not for myself necessarily, but in general. And as long as I can continue to do that, a lot of it's in the kitchen. But also as a concept with Driftwood, there's a lot of things that I spend a lot of time on that most business people would say, why are you doing that? It's not like there's a return or a short-term return on those things. But
they're
bigger
important.
picture.
Bigger picture.
Yeah,
Looking at the bigger picture, it's important to do that. So I love that. We got a little bit off on a tangent, but it was a good one. I'm going to reel us back in, though. You left Florida at 17.
Yep. So that instructor, Sylvia Tricarico, she helped me get into the Culinary Institute of America in upstate New York, and with a nice scholarship as well. So she kind of convinced me because at that point I was like, I'm going to drop out of high school and I'm going to go to the Florida Culinary at the time on 45th Street. And she basically got me in the right direction. She got me into a program to be able to still pass with good grades. I think I guess 3.6 or 5 or something like that. So went in it, and I was failing. So she really helped me kind of get things in line and make sure I was heading in the right direction. But I knew I wanted to get out of Florida. So the CIA in upstate New York, that's at that point, being 17, about to be 18, I just wanted to learn I wanted to be the best cook I possibly could. That was all I really cared about. I didn't really, there was no, it was local farms and just look at this beautiful produce. And that just wasn't something that was driving me at that time.
That came way later.
A few years later, yeah. Because also, I was working at a country club and sports bars and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even
vibe.
around it. Yeah.
Right.
But if I didn't have that draw to the culture of it, honestly, like looking back, I would never change a thing. Just because how it developed me as a chef, as a human being as well. Just those stages, and I definitely would not change it.
Good. Well, that's good.
Good or bad.
Good or bad. And then eventually.
Yep. So I went to the Culinary Institute of America.
You wanted to leave Florida, but you made your way back.
Yeah, but that was 12 years later.
Okay.
So I went up to the Culinary Institute of America. I did an externship on Nantucket Island, and then I went back. It was.
I love Nantucket.
For me, I'm getting flashbacks of 100-hour weeks and.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Nantucket in the summer is beautiful.
Nantucket summers are beautiful for the visitors.
Everybody thinks
for the staff at these restaurants, especially around Memorial Day weekend. It's just typically when I go, and the restaurants are just jam-packed.
Yeah. It's very hard to find a place to live if you're working there.
Yeah.
I was living above the restaurant that I was working at.
Wow.
And that was part of the agreement, and you kind of have to do that as a restaurant there.
Wow.
Because there's just no affordable housing.
Yeah,
Even then, this was 15 years
Yeah,
ago.
I still think they struggle with that.
Yeah, they do. I'm still in contact with some of the
Is the
people.
restaurant that you worked at still open?
No, but the chef that I was working for, he did sell the restaurant, and he bought another restaurant on the island. So
Which restaurant?
it was called American Seasons at the time.
Okay.
When I was working there, and his current restaurant is called Proprietor's Table.
Oh,
Michael Lascola's his name.
okay. I know that restaurant. I go up there every Memorial Day.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those chefs that like I could look back at my career. I could like kind of track back the years, and I could see things that I do today that are because of him. So and a part of that is that that respect and passion, the development of that passion for good quality products. That's where it started. That was the first place that we were actually getting, really beautiful heirloom tomatoes that were grown on Nantucket. It's an island 30 miles off of Boston, off of Cape Cod. So it's not easy getting product there.
Right.
So obviously the seafood, plenty of seafood,
Plenty of good seafood.
But yeah, that was definitely where I was focused on my cooking skills at that age. So I was definitely very much on that. But that's where, with Chef Michael Lascola, that's where it's not just fast, it has to be fast and perfect. And it has to be fast and perfect every time. And we're going to do 350 covers tonight in a 80-seat restaurant. So.
Oh, man. So you get thrown right in.
It was, yeah.
That's how you learn.
It was a good start for me right out of culinary school.
Yeah.
Because I was also able to go back to culinary school after my externship. And then my main focus from there was New York City. I did, I guess I took a little break after I graduated, went back to Nantucket, saved up some money, and then kind of did some traveling around. I went to like the French Laundry and Bouchon and checked out wine country in California.
That sounds fun.
Spent all the money that
all the money you saved
that I saved for New York.
Yeah, of course.
But I eventually did make it to the city. And when I was in culinary school, I used to make it down probably every month or 2 months. I'd make it down to the city to check out the restaurants.
Where is the CIA?
It's in Poughkeepsie, or Hyde Park, technically, but very close to Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
It's about, I want to say, an hour and 45 minutes by train.
Okay.
So you can take a train.
I didn't realize
down,
it was so far from Manhattan.
It's not too bad on a train.
No.
But it's not like you're back.
For some reason, I was always picturing it as like Brooklyn or something. I don't know.
You wouldn't go there for dinner and then come back that night necessarily.
Got it.
It's not that close.
Okay.
But we, it was very popular for people to go do stages in the city. Go check out a restaurant. Spend a day there and then come back. And a lot of people would carpool and that sort of thing. So and that was probably one of the biggest things that I got out of the CIA. Honestly, was just the proximity to the city and all of the things that come along with that, such as like the chefs, the winemakers, the cheeses, the people that are the artisans, and at that time, New York City, it was like the best in the country was there.
Everything was New York was that was the big game.
So I wanted to be as close as possible to that.
Yeah.
But there's definitely limitations. So I went there to work at WD50. That was a restaurant that I was visiting at that was a restaurant that I went to go eat at when I was at the CIA, and it was very experimental, especially at the time. That would be one of the first, if not the first restaurant in the country doing the molecular gastronomy.
Oh, okay.
So it was definitely cutting edge, and there was a lot of things that I had no clue how it was done. So that's mainly why I just wanted to learn how to do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So that was, I didn't get a job right away. I spent my first few weeks in the city crashing on a friend's couch from the CIA and just bringing my resume every single day. They didn't need anyone, so I had to, at some point, eventually, I think it was like 4 weeks, I was like, okay, I need to get a job. I found someone that was hiring. Apparently a chef was like throwing stuff at people and fired a bunch of people and sent the sous chefs home to shave. And
oh God.
so they were looking for people. So I found out about this from a friend of mine who was working next door to this restaurant. It's called 11 Madison Park.
Oh.
So that was a few weeks after
Very
Daniel
familiar with that.
started there. So that was my first job in New York City. And that was It was very intense, but that was exactly what I was kind of looking for. I was looking for that real experience.
Right.
I've never felt like the need to be living in a city, a big city. You know, I grew up down here. I grew up surfing, skateboarding, fishing. You know,
Yeah. You weren't that's not a city boy life.
No. I've never needed that. But when you are stuck in it,
Yeah.
time flies. So it's just one of those things. Like, I mean, I wanted to make sure that I was building my resume, that I was kind of taking the right steps, you know, building my career. But it's crazy how when you're very focused and honed in on something in New York City, it's very easy to be like, wow, I've been here for 3 years and I've never
time
left.
flies. Time flies.
Yeah. So I spent about 7 years in the city, 6 or 7 years in New York City. I went to Hong Kong. So it was 11 Madison Park. I did end up getting a job at WD-50 afterwards.
Oh, good. Okay.
Because somebody that I met at 11 Madison, they knew somebody, so they got a job there. Then they left and they recommended me.
So did you get to learn all the molecular gastronomy?
A lot of it. My time got cut a little bit short, but not in a bad way, I don't think.
Okay.
So when I say that, that was around the time, it was 2008, when I was in the process. I was already at WD-50 for about a year and a half at that point, and one of my good friends that lived across the street from WD-50, he was trying to get me to leave to go be a sous chef with him, his sous chef at a new restaurant that was opening, Italian food. So to me, Italian food sounded boring coming from WD-50. You know,
right.
If it was anything real, like I wasn't interested. If it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I wanted something that looked crazy, something that felt.
That's where you wanted to do all the cool, like,
stuff that plays with your
out
mind,
of the box,
you know?
yeah.
That's what I was like I was so focused on that because like what WD-50 did do changed the way that I thought about food. That's the number one, that's definitely something, and I still go back to that today.
It's a good skill.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
You'll see chefs that get like, Italian is kind of like a common one.
They get very stuck in their ways and don't want to branch out and do something out of the box and something unique. Yeah, you
see, I struggle with that even today, you know, where you'll see a radish and it's like you always go to those things that you did before. That's always the first thing. So that I'm constantly battling that.
Push the envelope. You got to push the envelope.
Different,
do something to make yourself
stand out.
We already know
that, you know. We already know how to do this. Let's do something different. Let's try it, you know. And if it's not good, it's not good. But try something else.
Try it, then try it something else. Exactly.
So that thought process I definitely use here at Driftwood all the time.
Yes.
In growing season here, you know, you have a lot of people that are growing very similar types of things, and it's kind of like similar types of things grown throughout the year. So for me to be able to, my focus is how do we take that and how do we take a great, amazing product and how do we respect it, but do something
totally
cool and exciting,
unique.
And that people in Boynton Beach are gonna love.
Yeah.
So it's
that too. You have to make sure that you're catering to your clientele in the area where you are.
I haven't figured out that recipe yet, 100%.
I don't know that anyone has.
I don't think there is one.
South Florida, especially, like it's a very interesting place. But
I wonder if should we get some food cooking?
I know. Now that you're talking about using an ingredient in a new way, and there is something on your menu that you do, this okra dish.
Yep, we need.
And when people think of okra, but while we're waiting on that, actually, our wonderful bartender Matthew Swig dropped off this gorgeous cocktail.
It does look great.
And it's bright blue from the Curacao, but he said it's a watermelon gin cocktail with mint and falernum and coconut. Oh my God, that is so good.
That is good. That's definitely one of my favorites.
It's so pretty too. This color.
There's few things that can really battle like this heat that we're dealing with in Florida right now.
And this is one of them. It's so refreshing.
I think with October around the corner, it would be.
I know.
It would lighten up a little bit.
We don't have. I mean, technically we're in fall, but it's still 80 degrees out.
Yeah, we're not doing all the braises and the squashes.
No,
and
not
stuff.
yet.
Not quite yet.
I want to. I really want like that pumpkin spice, and I want to sit by a fire.
But I've always loved that about cooking in Florida. Like I've loved, because if you look at it from a different angle, yes, you can use some of those typical fall type things, but we also have plenty of stuff that throughout not just the fall, but fall, because the end of fall is the beginning of growing season. So we will be getting stuff like radishes and I keep saying radishes.
Yeah, you keep going back to radishes. Radishes are such a funny vegetable. Like now that you talk about radishes, like they're spicy as hell.
They can be, yeah.
And like every time I eat a radish, I'm like, why is this spicy? Like it just, I never think of radishes as being spicy, and then I eat them, and I'm like, that is a spicy vegetable.
I love using it for its purpose.
Yes.
And, you know, what are its qualities? And because there are some radishes that are going to be definitely more mellow. Some that will mellow out a lot when it's cooked, but when it's raw, it can be super spicy. So, you know, I think that's the fun part, though.
I do like the watermelon radish.
They look beautiful.
They are fun to have in a salad. Yeah. But radishes. Do you grow radishes on set? You have a garden here, right?
We do. Radishes or anything that grows in the ground, we've had trouble with because of iguanas. That's really...
the iguanas. Yep,
yeah,
that's
like
Florida.
What we've had to... I mean, the first couple of years that we had the garden bed, we would try everything. But there's even more iguanas. They're up in those trees, and they come down as soon as I... thank you, Chef.
Oh, there we go.
So things that we kind of gear more towards things that we can transplant. So a lot of our local farms that we work with, they'll have some extra stuff here and there. One of our good friends, John, he helps with the farms. He also does some community gardens in the area. So he's always helping kind of keep the garden looking nice, and he'll bring some stuff over. But yeah, stuff like radishes specifically, not in the garden. Root vegetables,
but
it just doesn't work out very well.
You utilize other produce that you're not, or herbs and everything from local farms.
Yes,
you
absolutely. as much as we possibly can.
As much as you possibly can.
It's not everything. We're not there yet.
Yeah, like as much as you can, locally produced, or local farms, local purveyors. You're sourcing locally as much as you can, even with like meat and seafood and all of that. Yeah,
I mean, we always look to local first. You know, we don't prioritize local over quality.
Yeah.
So yes, local is going to be the first place we're looking at for any of our products.
If it doesn't meet your quality expectations,
it's a scale.
Yes, exactly.
You know? So if we can get, you know, like right now, like we have an amazing ranch that we've been working with, Quincy cattle. So all of our beef products come directly from the ranch, which is I've never been in a restaurant where I've been able to have that direct of a relationship with our beef. So it's really awesome. They are 4.5 hours away, not super local.
Is it on the other coast?
They're in Chiefland.
Okay.
But to get
the quality,
I think Quincy and maybe one other ranch that will actually do the processing, because that's the biggest issue with the cattle. There's tons of, you drive around Florida, you're going to see cows everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's the processing, who actually processes that cattle, and how do they get it to the restaurant? That's the hard part. So Quincy does all that on their end. So that makes it really easy for us to be able to deal directly with the ranch. Whereas most, it's like I said, I've never been in a restaurant where you've been able to have that sort of relationship with that.
Yeah. Bringing up the beef, the Quincy cattle, it reminded me of the one dish you have, and I think you still have it on the menu, the onion petal.
The steak tartare.
The steak tartare.
Yeah, that's becoming a staple.
It's so good. And I don't know if when you made it for me, if you did something different than what it is on the menu. I think you used manchego cheese, I remember.
Yep. There was something, I think in the mix, but it was something very minor.
You made it whatever the change was. But that was such an unique dish. Talk about using ingredients in a different way. So many people have a steak tartare on the menu, but I've never seen a steak tartare in a fried onion petal. Like, it was so cool.
That onion petal
so
is like, so we bake it for 2 hours, then we peel it, then we cut it, then we air dry it overnight, then we smoke it for about 3 hours, then we cool it down, then we pedal it, then we dip it in a beer batter. So it's like a 2-day process.
A lot of layers to that.
It's not just an onion petal, but it is. And that's what that's a good example of a lot of the food that we do. And you know, my best friends, they always tell me I make things more difficult than they need to be.
But that's why everyone loves everything.
Which is true, but
that's fine.
Is it worth it? You know,
in the end,
who's to decide? So,
like, all right, so
you gonna try
case
some
in
of that?
point, yes. All right, so this is okra, which in my mind, when I think of okra, I think of slimy, gross okra in like a gumbo. I don't know. I've never liked it, but this is crispy. There's pecorino cheese, right?
There is pecorino cheese and a preserved lemon aioli.
And preserved lemon. Okay. I'm not going to get this on the microphone.
Yeah, this is one of those things because I agree with you with the fried okra or okra in general. It can be a tricky thing to work with.
Oh my
but
God.
it is what it is.
It's so good.
So we use the slime to our benefit. So
What do you do with the slime?
So the slime is all in the seeds. Just
Okay.
like the majority of the heat in jalapenos are going to be in the seeds or peppers in general.
Right.
So we've done different ways, even with pickling okra, charring okra, doing different things with it. We've done, one thing we do know is that the big factor is the seeds.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're cutting those seeds or breaking them, that's when the slime's released. So we slice them thin, and that all the slime comes out. So we do that, and then all that slime comes out, and we basically make like a brine. We season that slime. We add some water so that it's a manageable slime.
Is there a culinary term for the slime, or do we
Slime?
just call it slime?
Probably, yeah. There probably is. I'm sorry, I'm not great with the technical stuff, but
I like it. That's fine. We can call it slime.
So the slime actually gets really, really crispy. We use the slime, we basically dry the slime with a mix of cornstarch and rice flour. So we'll take the okra, we'll dust it with that cornstarch and rice flour.
Oh
and
my
it soaks up the
God.
slime, and then it goes and it gets crispy.
Wait, that just blew my mind.
Oh.
I thought, honestly, when I first tried this dish at that dinner I was here a couple weeks ago, I thought it was the pecorino cheese that was around,
Nope.
that was the crispy. Oh my God, you literally just blew my mind. That's so cool.
And that was something that's trial and error. I think that our former chef de cuisine Tommy Coombs, he was working on that for a long time. Working on when we come across a product that we know we want to use.
Wow.
Whether it's because of the producer,
Wow.
whether it's because of the what it is, but sometimes it takes us a little time to kind of, how do we present it to our guests here, and how do we in Boynton Beach?
But I think that's
I
why.
keep saying that, but it's up and coming.
There's a lot going on in Boynton
agree,
Beach. That's
yeah.
like a whole different conversation. But I think that's why your restaurant, right, Driftwood, has been so successful through the years, over the last 7.5 years. And people, anytime this restaurant is brought up, people rave. The food is so unique. No one's doing dishes like this. You're presenting things. Yeah. You're presenting,
for better or for worse.
Your menu is super unique. Your food's amazing. And like we said earlier, you're pushing the envelope. You're doing things that people aren't necessarily, like, I would never think, oh, I'm going to go to Driftwood and order okra. But like, this is so freaking good.
It's, I think it comes down to what I was saying earlier, where it's like, I can't just be, like, I need to be making sure whatever it is that we are doing as a business, and yes, like, it probably comes from me personally, but I'm not satisfied with just something that's, say, good for me or for my family or for my little circle.
Right.
I want us to be doing something that is having a positive impact in general, like something that is, the byproduct is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then I can feel, because that's kind of what motivates me nowadays. For years I've kind of been, I haven't been that chef that needs the fame, the spotlight, even this slightly uncomfortable. I'm getting
Yeah,
used
but you're
to it.
doing great. You do these more often now. These interviews
and again, like, I think the message that we, like, if I feel like we can get a message across, because I think it's like what we're doing are things that I think nobody can really disagree with.
Right.
It's just a matter of, I think a lot of chefs, they don't have the right tools to be able to do things the best they could. And I spent a lot of my career in those establishments.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they were bad restaurants or bad chefs or owners, but there was a lot of things that just didn't align. It's like sometimes you'll be doing like really, really amazing food, but they're throwing out 40% of everything because it's too much work to clean up all this trim and to get somebody to come compost any scraps. And, so it's just finding that balance, there's a lot of, we've kind of like, we're not there yet, but we're always trying to figure out how, if making a great plate of food, I'm sorry, but I just don't see that as being like, a lot of people can do that. I think anyone here can say, like, I've made a great plate of food before. So I'm not trying to say I'm a chef that's going to be making you the best plate of food. I'm a firm believer that what makes a plate of food great, or a dish or an experience, it's all up here. So I really, really enjoy up here.
Yep.
Like when people are coming, when guests are coming in here, it all starts. Like, are
It's
they
the
walking by our
experience.
stinky dumpster? Are they walking by a homeless person that's asking them for change? And
Yep.
it starts there, you know? And
That is so such a valid point, because it really it's the entire experience.
got something else coming.
Ooh.
All right. Thank you, Chef.
It's the experience, and every experience at a restaurant, it really makes or breaks. It's not always just the food.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's the service. It's the parking lot. Yeah, like
You can't control everything,
you
though.
can't control everything, but
I've gone crazy trying to.
right, and you don't want to drive yourself nuts.
Like
trying to
last night,
control
for
everything.
instance, we had a lady that came in. She was arguing with her husband the whole way in.
That's
Brought an
annoying.
entree out. She looks at it. It's salty.
By looking at
Okay.
it, you're salty, lady.
And it was one of those things that, okay, we're not going to be able to do anything for you.
Right.
And so
That's when you just kind of, you're like,
I want to be as hospitable as possible to everybody, but at the end of the day, like you only have so much control over somebody's experience. You know, what happened prior, nothing you can really do about
There's
it.
nothing,
you
it's
know?
out of your control.
So
But
this
what's
is
in
one of my-
control, oh, that is a hot plate. What is in control is this plate right here. This is, tell me about this.
This has become a staple
really
menu
hot.
item.
I'm gonna
So this is a really fun dish, and it's there's a lot to talk about in this dish. It's a fried
Give me
rice.
your like 60-second go at
All
this
right,
dish.
so this is our pork jowl fried rice. So it's our version of a very common, not necessarily American, obviously, but maybe American Chinese dish that people usually associate with to-go, with takeout. So the way that we make this, I'll kind of run through it. So we use Carolina Gold rice from our the mill that we work with called Marsh Hen Mill. They're not in Florida, but they're in Disto Island, South Carolina. We've been working with them since we opened. All of our corn and grain products, tons of really beautiful heirloom grains and beans and legumes and stuff. So we take that rice and we cook it in the style of sushi rice. And we season it with
It's
that
crispy.
sushi rice. It's very crispy because after we cook it, we season it and then we let it air dry for 2 days in the walk-in so that when we go to fry it, it gets super crispy.
What's the heat? What's the heat in there?
So the heat, that is one of my favorite things that we've developed at Driftwood. It's collard green kimchi. So about 5 years
Wow.
ago, Kai Kai Farm showed
Wow.
up with, I think like it was like 60 or 70 pounds of collard greens
Wow.
at the end of season. And it was like, I at that point, you braise collard greens, you braise collard greens.
That's
you know?
the
It's
only
like,
thing I know about collard greens.
and
is
that's all.
braised.
And at that point too, and that's
That's all that people were doing.
so
That's all you do with
we
it.
had to really think about it. It
Yeah.
was like, okay, how can we possibly preserve these somehow? You know, even in, not from a financial standpoint, but in general for just a food, food waste.
Yeah,
thing, you know,
right.
So I messed around with making kimchi, treating collard greens like you would Napa cabbage, the kimchi process. We had some peppers.
That makes sense.
We had some peppers that we already fermented from our garden that we harvested earlier in the year. So we made a gochujang paste, like a red pepper chili paste with that, which is what you would use, traditional kimchi. That's what we would use to season it. And we allow it to ferment. We take the stems are in there. The stems that typically you would have to cook those for like 8 hours.
But the
Stems,
fermentation
onions,
process.
yeah, it breaks it down. It's a lot of knife cuts, so you have to really
Right.
cut it thin. But that fermentation process takes about a week to, depending on the time of year, about a week to 10 days, and it will break it down. It's still going to have a little bit of crunch to it, but
So good.
but yeah, that's and then the pork jowl that's in there as well. We get the raw pork jowls, we cure them for a week.
So that's like the jaw of all the meat that's here on
So the cheeks,
the cheeks.
I have 2 pigs at my house, so I
You do?
I pet their jowls. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So the cheeks are going to be more up here on pigs, but like it's almost like the neck. Like when I was in
Okay.
Hong Kong,
yeah.
they called it pork face.
Pork face.
But it's not the actual
I don't think I
face,
could
it's
ever
like a
eat something
cut.
that's like, here's your pork face fried rice.
It's very fatty. It's very fatty, but the process that we do with it, it's not going to be like, it's not going to have that. It's not going to be chewy. It's not going to be like a weird fat. It's a very like decadent fat.
So it's not fat like the way pork belly is.
It would be if we didn't do the process.
Okay.
Yeah. The process is a cure for a week, then we sous vide it so that it's cooked through. And in that process, you're rendering out the fat. And then we air dry it overnight. We'll pat them dry. They're already cooked, but we'll put them in the smoker at about 300 degrees. And we'll smoke them, and that higher temp is gonna render out a lot of that fat.
Wow.
So by the time that we actually are putting it, our pan searing it, a lot of that fat that you would associate with like the bad fat is already gone.
It's gone.
And then you just have that really nice, salty.
Oh my
You know,
God.
it's really good. It's not quite charcuterie.
No, but see, that is what I'm talking about. This place, you are doing so many, like such creative things with your food. It's so.
The pork jow's become like our bacon. Like that's our staple.
Yeah.
That's our staple pork product. Like some
Love
chefs
that.
have bacon or prosciutto or pancetta
Pork jowl.
that they put in certain things that need that little, make it better.
Right. This is your
pork jowl. That's our go-to.
I love it. Man, what is your favorite dish on the menu? Do you have one? Is it this?
I always say like my favorite dish is it's
Whatever you're
unfortunately,
making
it's
at the
what's on my
time.
mind, but
Yeah.
but unfortunately, usually the thing that's most on my mind is the next dish that we don't know what it is yet. So right now we're working on a vegan dessert. We're doing like
that
a
is one
date
thing
cake.
about this place. Your desserts, you always have something on your menu that I can eat, and it makes me very happy.
We definitely
love
try to
that.
suit can't please everyone, but
Right.
we try to
You're
do our
good.
best to
That's
have that
good.
balance.
The menu here is really, really good if you're gluten free or vegan or vegetarian. There's a lot of options.
I grew up one of 7 kids, and my oldest sister was vegan since I was 15 years old.
Okay.
So, and she'd been to every restaurant in the country that I worked in. So, and
Always
I had
have
to do
to
a
make
tasting
sure.
menu for her. and
Always have to
stuff,
make sure that she's
So,
taken care of.
And my son has an egg allergy too. So
Okay.
as far as, none of our ice creams have egg in it. Like we've
Yeah.
worked, I don't use like, mayo and stuff that if I can avoid putting an allergen in the dish, I absolutely
Which
will.
I think
I'm
is
conscious
really
of that.
that's smart. It's inclusive. It makes it easier for people with allergies or preferences even.
It makes it easy for the chef in service.
Yes, it does.
Because then you don't have to scramble and try to put something
Yeah,
together.
and there's it's not a lot of back and forth questions. That's something that always frustrates me with other restaurants.
And it's not, and you can still make something good without putting butter in it.
Yeah,
And with,
totally.
Like our cauliflower puree, for instance, there's
don't
no
know
cream, no butter. But
It's
everyone
still
swears
freaking
it is.
delicious.
We've sent it to people that can't have dairy, and they send it right back. They're like, "There's no way, there's no cream in that."
Yeah.
But it's a process that we do. It's just cauliflower, salt, and we use a neutral oil that kind of.
That's what it makes it like velvet. It's just
It mimics
velvety.
like an aioli,
Yeah.
like that creamy,
creamy,
light,
yeah,
creamy.
but without cream.
Yeah. But you have to like whip it a little bit, so you have to the technique's a little bit different.
Just a little bit more effort.
But yeah.
That's all. That's all it takes.
But I mean, I figured that
Not
out by
every-
spilling the whole thing of oil into one time in the
Of
puree
course.
I was making. That's how I figured
Mistakes
that out.
are
It wasn't like I
sometimes
learned that technique.
a lot of the best dishes come from accidents or mistakes. I feel like that's
I wholeheartedly encourage mistakes.
Mistakes
here.
are good.
Yeah. We've had dishes here that have gone from like it's not here, but we have a lobster dish right now. That dish, one of our new sous chefs, Matt, he came to me with an idea, and lobster season just started, so we all
the Florida lobster
we could have a whole nother
Do
conversation.
you mean
about
Florida lobster,
Yes,
like mini,
Florida lobster.
the regular lobsters or the mini? Is that
No,
different?
the regular. Well, the mini season, that's for recreational. So that's
Okay.
when people would go out
And
in
get-
their boats and they get drunk and they crash into people.
Yes, right.
You see that all
People
over the
always
news.
talk about that. It's mini season.
And but after that, about a week after that, that's when the commercial season will open up. But unfortunately, in South Florida, the 90%, probably more. I think it was like in the 95% 2 years ago when I was like really doing a lot of research on it. It gets shipped mostly to China, but Asia in general gets like over 90% of all of the lobsters. That are caught here.
What?
So it's actually very difficult to find true
Wow.
Florida caught lobsters.
That's interesting.
In Florida.
That's weird.
So the point is that I always try to do my best. Like
Yes.
I'm working like the guy our lobster guy. He literally was here 2:00 today, about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. He goes out by himself, one man, one boat. He goes off a boca. He does have to dive down a little bit. So it's in the Keys, it's more traps laid out, and so there's a lot of expenses associated with fuel, with the permits, and all that. But this guy's jumping out of a boat and with his dive gear on. He's handpicking the lobster.
Grabbing the lobsters.
He literally texted me before, when he got out of the boat, he got done with the boat, he texted me, okay, I got this many for you. I'm like, all right, great,
That's
head
so
on over.
cool. I love that.
We just got him, and it's
That's
like,
very cool.
if we're not picky about that, you know, if we're not adamant about getting those lobsters, because we've also had situations where people say, oh yeah, I got Florida lobsters, and they show up with a case of like tails from Nicaragua or somewhere in the Caribbean, you know, and
it's not.
I get it. It's hard to you know, get it, but if I'm not adamant about those things, it's not going to change.
Right.
And if I'm not buying it, people aren't going to go fishing for it. So I always try to do whatever I can to facilitate. I know seafood, good, local, fresh seafood is very difficult to get as a chef, and it's inconvenient. We have like a custom-built stainless steel shelf that all of our whole fish, they get lined up nice, they get packed in ice. So we are taking it. We don't call a wholesaler and like, okay, we need 10 pounds of snapper fillets. I'm getting a text, oh, I got a boat coming in. They got 300 pounds of this, 400 pounds of this, and 200 pounds of this. What do you want?
You break down the whole fish. You broke down a fish for me once back there.
Yeah, we keep it whole, and we're going through it. So obviously, like, there's some factors. Like, I'm asking them when the boat's going back out, what's the weather looking like, you know?
Right.
Those are all factors on how much fish do I need to have, and then obviously knowing how the quality window that I have, you know? And that my fishermen, it's actually very impressive. Because the people that I work with, the reason why I work with them is because of how they handle the seafood. There's nobody else outside of some stuff you'd get from like back when I was at Maria, we'd be getting 2 orders from Tsukiji Market in Japan when it was open. Twice a week, we'd be getting this beautiful fish, but it was like, as you can imagine, extremely expensive.
Right.
So what we're getting now is the same quality, much, much less expensive. But if they don't have it, they don't have it. So it's just, but the quality, if you're willing to take those extra steps, like the fish don't, you know, like my fish guy, he's not going to scale the fish.
Yeah.
He's not going to fillet the fish or send.
He just
portions.
brings.
You get the fish.
It's here. Here you go. This is your fish. Do what you want with it, and there you go. And then you have it.
Yeah. And they like the handling is just so impeccable. And you know, like at Maria, the last restaurant that I was at in New York, it's a very busy restaurant, and it's a seafood restaurant. I used to purchase in the ballpark of $40,000 to $50,000 a week seafood from all over the world. Like you'd be getting stuff from New Zealand, Australia, obviously all over Europe, all the major markets, like all the different soles and turbos and wild caught bronzino and langoustines from Scotland and stuff from all over.
Yeah.
But when I met this guy, he only had golden tilefish.
I like golden tilefish.
It was insane.
So good.
It was just coming from like seeing really, really good quality, and you think it's good quality.
And then you get the good quality, and you're like, wow.
Honestly, Driftwood, the way that we operate, the way that, I don't want to say the whole concept, but the way that we handle our seafood here, I can 100% credit it to Buddy's his name. He was like our main fish guy.
Yay, Buddy.
Vincent's his real name. Everyone calls him Buddy. But
I like Buddy.
because I knew that was possible. And I was like, if this is possible here, if I have this sort of resource, people have got to, you know, this is a waste. Just people not even knowing and not, you know what I mean? Because a lot of chefs, they don't want to worry about it.
They don't want to worry about it. And they don't want to go the extra steps and take that, you know, it's effort, it's time, it's effort, and most of them are, you know,
it's money,
trying to, I was going to say, they're trying to save money, save time, and they don't want to do all these extra steps that are what make you and Driftwood what you are.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily the chef's fault. You know, I was there. I was working in places where it's just, you couldn't take, you know, whoever's paying the bills is not willing to pay those bills.
Exactly.
You know?
It has to be somebody who's open to all of these ideas and these different what you're doing here.
Yeah. So my focus is always like, do the right thing. If I'm heading in the direction that I know is the best from my standards or whatever I feel for whatever reason that I feel like is the best, the money will come. And you know, maybe it doesn't, but at least if you don't give it a shot, if you don't give it a full honest shot, then you're never gonna know.
God, Jimmy, you're such a good role model. You're so like inspirational and positive. I love that.
Well, I'm not 15 anymore. So.
Yeah. This is like, both of these dishes delicious.
This
Everything
has kind
here,
of become one of the staples just because there's so many like very unique.
It's very There's so many things about it that are. I know you could probably talk about it for an hour. But
I didn't talk about the egg. It's broken up, but that's actually a duck egg, and that comes from one of our very small farms called Charmed Life. So she raises ducks. She also raises like kuni pigs. And she has like a really good connections in general. Erica's her name. So she works at a nursery a couple days a week. So she knows people that have all these fruit trees. And so she's always like with mangoes and lychees and even like stuff like curry leaves and just stuff that a lot of people have these food trees growing on their property. They don't even know
what they are. Yeah.
So that's what
is really awesome about South Florida. You have access to so many things growing naturally.
I'm still finding stuff like in my neighborhood.
Yeah, it's like something new every day. It's awesome.
And that's the type of thing that really excites me. Like more so than doing like tweezer food that's gonna get a Michelin star.
Like a
or
tiny
something. Like,
dot here and some tweezer things right here.
I think I do agree with the simplicity element. Like so like if you can limit to like say like 3 or 4 things that are going on a plate, and if that can really stand out, if you can change somebody's view on an ingredient by the way you're preparing it, the way you're serving it, even the way you're seasoning or cooking it.
The case in point,
that's
the
a success
okra.
for me.
The okra.
Exactly.
Like, totally. That is a totally different thing than I would ever imagine okra to be. Your cauliflower dish is another way to like make one ingredient shine. That is the best thing.
We had a lady that used to bring her husband, and it was like every few weeks they'd come in. She would order it for him. He swore it was chicken for like weeks and weeks. She would order it for him.
I can see how like you could tell someone it's chicken, and if they don't know better, the color looks like skin.
Yeah, it's with that dish, that's not really. I mean, don't get me wrong. We did take about 12, 13 tries on getting the batter consistency perfect and the sauce perfect, but it could resemble chicken, but it could also resemble, like, we made it look like something you would get out of a Chinese takeout.
Yeah, it looks like
that was the
General
idea.
Tso's cauliflower, which I love.
That was what we were going for.
But I can eat it.
It was a big hit for COVID. That was that's when that dish took off, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, because we used to only run it when we were doing like a cauliflower steak for our vegan entree around the time we opened, if not the first year, and we would only run that dish when we had enough of the trim that fell off of the cauliflower steak.
Yeah.
After we pickled a bunch and all that, but so we would run the dish for 2 days, sell it out, great. And then another week later, we do it again for a couple days, great. And then it was like people wanted entrees of it, people wanted white rice with it.
Give me a big plate of this. It's so good. It's so good. On that note, we're gonna end with all of my favorite dishes, the cauliflower. Thank you so much for coming, for letting me come here to your wonderful restaurant and treating me to this dish. And I can't wait to eat more of this and share with my friends. I love what you're doing here. I think it's amazing. I love what you're doing in the community. You really, truly embody.
It's important
someone that
because it's not easy.
You are out there. You're, like you said, with the students and everything you're doing to support the local farms and purveyors and other people, other chefs. You do collaborating with other just restaurants and everything.
We'll do more.
Yeah,
it's hard to do it one person or one.
Right, but it's inspiring, and I think that's what's really great about this South Florida culinary community is that there is so much collaboration, and it is really more about community than it is competition or anything. It's really great, and I think you're definitely at the top of that with the way that you embrace yourself in the community. And
the more people, like you said, the more people on board, like the bigger impact
we can have.
The good we can have.
And it's just going to trickle down the generations. You're
showing them the right way.
Showing them the right way so that they can take over this incredible culinary world that you have is going on right now and needs to continue. And we need to
start with composting. Like if they know that they have a possibility of composting their waste rather than throwing it in the trash that's going to the landfill.
Yeah, teaching them that.
That's a win. If a 15-year-old, 16-year-old out of high school at least can have the experience of not automatically throwing something into the trash like I had done for 20 years in my career in any restaurants. You're just so naturally throwing stuff in the trash, and then you're left, when you actually look at it, it's like, that was more than half of the product.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense financially. It doesn't make sense ethically. And look at all these issues that we're having, around the world. And that's one small thing that we can
have a huge impact.
Exactly.
Well, we just got to keep spreading that word.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. This was great. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Give me a review, rate, like, share, follow, all the things. And I hope to see you again next time.